Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP. Another episode of That to Shoot, weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And then we talk about the main topic. We got a big one. It's an anniversary, so we're going to talk about that. But before that, we got a couple smaller news items to talk about, and let's get right into that. You know, last week was such a big news week with the reports of both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk going to AEW, signing and going with that. That it was, you know, that I guess wrestling world has decided let's take a week off. Let's take a week off. You don't need big news. There was a lot of big news. There was some reports that I guess the biggest news that Jeff Hardy was tested positive for COVID-19. So they couldn't do what they wanted to do on Raw, and they had Keith Lee go up against Karrion Kross, and there have been reports that Karrion Kross was supposed to lose to Jeff Hardy again this week, and that would end up turning around. Then they would bring out Scarlett. Scarlett would come back and come back with Karrion Kross. And that's something that Jim Cornette's been saying on his podcast the last couple of weeks as well. And so there is that. So I'm not sure what their big goal is, but you know they do need to be careful with that, because you don't want to ruin Karrion Kross just before you can always come back. You can always come back from the dead. You can always do that, but you do have to be careful. There's some more news. AEW made some news that with the news of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk possibly coming to AEW. Their shows have been selling out more, been selling more tickets for like the shows of the Wednesday before All Out and the afterwards, and there's a New York show they're doing out there at State Stadium, which is selling more tickets because of that and everything. And then they announced on their this show on the Dynamite, they announced on Wednesday that Friday, August 20th, the day before SummerSlam, their TV show Rampage is going to be live from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Darby Allin announced it, and he even said something about being the best in the world. So a lot of teases, a lot of things about this, and if all this is true, and yes, it does look like this could be true, then they are doing some really good. They're doing a good job of doing that, dropping teasers, dropping hints here and there about both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. And once again, and then Jim Cornette and his co-host Brian Last, they made a good, they made a good thing the other day. Both the theme songs in WWE are songs that they could use in AEW, because they are music songs and they can be licensed. So and I don't think there's no like exclusive license or anything like that where it can only be used in AEW. I think it's so they could use their things in AEW. So both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk could come out on AEW television to their WWE themes. That is something. That really is. And I think finally, the big news. Not big news. It's a kind of a small news package, but WWE wanted Cardi B to host SummerSlam. Wanted to be the host of SummerSlam. It doesn't seem like that is going to happen because Cardi B is pregnant, and so she. I think now the host is going to be. I don't think they're going to have a host, but they announced that Tiffany Haddish is going to be the host of the SummerSlam after party. So it's going to be an after party, and she is going to be the host of that. So we'll have to see what happens. Would they get any more celebrity involvement in SummerSlam? Because they said they're going to try to make WrestleMania SummerSlam this year, and celebs get involved with WrestleMania. So we will see what happens if more names are announced for Vegas in SummerSlam. And now let's talk about our main topic. Hulk Hogan, the third man, he turns heel for the first time in over 20 some odd years. Over 20 some odd years he turns heel, and he joins Hall and Nash, and they become the new world order. And it was, I can go back to that time, and it was a time that's not 96. I would have been 14, and I was still trying to pretend, to make myself believe that what we were seeing was real. When it comes to wrestling, because I wanted it to be real. I think I think because I think I wanted it to be real because so yourself or your feelings about certain things from other kids and something like that, and it's like that with adult. With an adult, you can you can come back when someone says, "Why are you watch wrestling? Don't you know that's fake?" You can say, "Well, don't you know Fringe is fake?" You can come back with that, and you can and you also more stuff inside of you that you can be more proud to call yourself yeah I watch it, so fucking what. But I want to make myself get it with things like that. However, this one I had to be honest. I did not. I really didn't know because I barely had it. Just barely. It was. We may have had like the dial up at that time. We had just got a computer. We barely had a computer. We just recently got a computer in the next like recently, the last year or two. And then the old style printer, we had everything. It was everything that was, yeah. So it just believe me. So, but yeah, so we barely had the internet, so I wasn't thinking, I wasn't looking online for internet. I wasn't a smart mark. I wasn't anything. So when I'm sitting there on a episode of Nitro in May, 1996, and I'm watching, Razor Ramon come out there, and Razor Ramon, and and he's putting on the accent, and he is everything, and he comes out there and he interrupts a match between Steve Regal and somebody, I believe. I think it was Mike Enos, Mike Epps, not Mike Epps, Mike Epps. It was like Mike Enos and Steven Regal or something like that. I'm not sure. And the referee, he comes to the crowd and he says, "Yeah, and you want the award, you got it." And and he does it, and he comes out the next week, and then the next week, he mentions that he's gonna come out with somebody else, and then the following week when he comes out, is that clip of him and Bischoff talking, and Kevin Nash comes from behind, and he starts, and they start talking, and Kevin Nash starts it, and and you just think, God, it's really happening. They're WWF is invading. It is invading WCW, and you just can't believe it. And it's almost like as if we say, wow. You think, and you get interested into it. And I've always been a WWF guy, always. But when Hall and Nash appear, and you think it's Razor and Diesel, and you're thinking that they are coming from the WWF, and you just can't believe it, and it's just incredible. And then they have this thing where it's the third man and everything like that. And Hogan comes out and he's the third man. Now I was just watching WWF TV. I was not watching WCW pay-per-view, so I did not see it live. But when I found out the next day, I talked to my friends who the third man, and they said it's Hulk Hogan. I said, Hulk Hogan. And I just couldn't believe it. It's what? So it's Hulk Hogan, and I believe the next night on Nitro, if I'm correct, I believe, and that was when like Nitro would do. That year they were doing like outside, shows, and they were doing outside shows, and Hogan was dressed in black. I think Hogan had like shaved his mustache even, and they were out there, and they were, and they just jumped everybody, and they just made it, they made it life a living hell for WCW. And it turned out to be one of the greatest things. A run that would never be matched. It's a run that would never be matched between the Monday Night Wars. I feel that one of the reasons why people are trying to make AEW better than it really is because they want AEW then to move from Wednesday night to Monday night to go head to head up against WCW, against WWE, and bring back the Monday Night War, which had the Attitude Era, and it was the greatest era, of wrestling probably to ever be had. We had the biggest stars that come from it, the biggest draw ever, the biggest superstar ever, the biggest draw in Hogan and Austin, the biggest star ever in The Rock. It's and then we had other things, and of course they did their thing as well. Bill Goldberg became a legend. So we had all of this, and people love it. People love the fact that they can flip back and forth. From channel. You don't even have to do it now. You flip, back to back. You could watch one and DVR the other, and then once you get through watching one, you can go right back afterwards and watch the next one. So I think that's what people are saying that AEW is so much better than it than it really is, because that's what they want. But that will never happen. That will never happen. Because AEW is not WCW. They have not had the longevity. WCW was built on the backs of the NWA. So and other things, and their stars were just the stars, the true stars. Flair and Sting and others, and they were true stars. AEW does not have stars. They have people who fans want to be stars, and have fans who think are stars, but they're not stars. Omega's not a star. Sorry, he's not a star. Again, I mentioned a couple weeks ago. He's a star in Japan, maybe. He's not a star over here. He doesn't. He's done nothing over here so far that I've seen that has proved to me that he is a star. The Young Bucks are not stars. Cody Rhodes is not a star. You know, none of these guys are stars, and they're not making anybody into stars. So, anyway, but you started off the greatest era in wrestling, and with the NWO, the NWO becoming so big over on Nitro that it kind of helped create DX on WWE and WWF, and and what they were doing over on on Nitro kind of changed what they were doing over on WWE, because they kind of away from the kind of went away from I guess you say gimmicks. They went away from the gimmicks of somebody being a gimmick, to more of a reality-based thing, and maybe you be a character with a gimmick instead of just being a gimmick. Instead of being a clown, or being a garbage man, or being the fucking goon. Instead of that, you were now you were the heartbreak kid, you were the icon who could still go. Instead of being, you were now the anti-authority figure badass and Steve Austin. You were now the savior to everywhere else in the world, instead of America, for Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation and so many others. So yeah, and so it's you just look fondly back on that and you think, wow, it's and some of the stuff that happened then still happens now. It still happens now, and it's been great. I will say that I don't know if there can be anything better than that. All the companies have tried. I don't think there's anything better than that, because I don't think people are trying. And even when Bobby Heenan kind of gives it away, when Hulk Hogan starts coming down in the ring, and he said, "But is he the third man?" I don't think nobody really thought that he was going to be the third man. And now, but because of the internet and because of other things, we know, there's really not a lot of really true surprises. It really isn't. And even like one of the biggest ones, Edge, right? Returning at the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. Many people said it's many people said they were surprised. They were surprised that Edge was there, but there have been rumors that he was retired. Sorry about that. There have been rumors that he said that he was returning. So, what made you think that he wasn't going to come back? So even though some people say that was a surprise, I still don't think that was the biggest surprise. It's very hard nowadays to do a surprise in pro wrestling because of everything that is out there, because of the internet and everything that can happen. And I'm talking about a big surprise. It was a surprise to see Keith Lee come out and challenge Bobby Lashley for the title. Yes. It was a surprise to see Malachi Black pop up in AEW. Yes. But a surprise like that Hogan turns heel, and a surprise that can never be done again. And when we look back on the Hogan heel turn 25 years later, as we look back on it, we should say that was a moment in time that we should cherish for the rest of our lives. It was awesome. Alright, y'all, put your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Looking back on the Hogan heel turn 25 years later. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys remember about it? If you remember it, let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.